Okay, so today's lesson is about the element of art that is called space and depth. This is one of those ones we wrote down on the very first day. Remember when we wrote down the elements, and we haven't really talked about it too much. So this is the idea. So I'm just going to start by drawing the drawing that all little kids draw, where they have the house with the pointy roof, the front door, the window, the path going to the front door. There's always the tree that looks like this right beside the house. The grass always looks like this, little lines all next to each other. And then, of course, you got to have that sun in the corner. And then some kids like to put these little birdies in the air. So it's natural when we begin that we start drawing two-dimensional, and we've talked about this before. We draw shapes, we don't draw forms, and this is along that same idea. The issue is things don't look closer and farther away, and that's what space and depth is. It's changing that to use techniques that make it look like things are closer and farther. So I'm going to start off with that same house, the same door and the same window, but the minute I go like this, oh yeah, so not only is it three-dimensional instead of two-dimensional, this is closer, that's getting farther away. The same with this path, right? If I go like this, oh, we're going back into space. The other thing that happens is the tree. Okay, fine, we can just keep a tree here. But if I go and add another little tree here and I add another one back here, now it's looking like they're getting farther away from us. Same with the grass, right? Instead of having it like this, I start like this. And I'm not going to fill the whole space on you here, but you get that idea. So there's a bunch of techniques that I've done, and there's some more techniques that you can do to create this. So let's keep the note. So artists use different techniques to create the illusion of depth in two-dimensional artwork, right? In flat 2D art. Okay, so some of these you already know. I haven't even done it yet, but we do know that one of the ways to create this depth is one that you've already done, and that is shading. So we know that if we just draw the circle like this, it is flat, is a shape, and in order to make it a form, we went and added some shading to it. You guys all know how to do this now. That created the look that this part is closer, and then as it's going round and underneath, it would actually be getting farther away. That one you guys already know. All right, what are some other things that I've done in here? So one thing is I'm actually going to do this, and that's overlapping. So even doing something like this, putting the tree behind the house absolutely makes that tree farther away. It has to be because it's behind. So one of the things to think about when you want to show things closer and farther is to overlap them. So when you go like this, you never have any idea, is this one bigger, smaller, or are they beside each other? But the minute I go like that, right, you can start to see the relationship that this is behind that. All right, what else happens? The trees, as I started to put them here, I started to make them smaller. The grass, right, it's not going to look like it's the same. It's going to be taller in the front. It's definitely going to get smaller. So we're just going to write the word objects appear smaller in the distance. This also showed here, the path was larger in the front. It got smaller as it went away. That's the difference from here. This is just looks like it's going straight up and down. It looks like there's a ladder, and this is now all of a sudden like a treehouse or something. So that happens. The other thing that would occur is when you're thinking about something like the grass, at the front, you would be able to see every individual piece. But as it gets farther away, it's just going to be a big blur, right? We aren't going to be able to see any texture. So objects appear less detailed. Instead of writing in the distance again, I'm just going to write farther away. The other thing that happens is they also appear lighter. Farther away. Again, don't stop halfway through. Objects appear lighter doesn't say anything. Objects appear lighter farther away. And one of the reasons for that, if you think of your eyeball, and yes, I'm going to show you later how to draw some really cool eyeballs. But if we were looking at something like a tree here, and we were looking at a similar tree way back here, this one's going to look lighter than this one just because of all the stuff in the air, right? From here to here, there's some stuff, but by the time you get to here, by the time you think of if it was a foggy day, that's water droplets in the air. Or in Toronto in the summer, how much smog you can get where you can't see objects in the distance. This is only half right, though. Objects appear lighter farther away in the daytime because if it's night, it's the opposite. The closer things are to you, the lighter they are, and they get darker as they go farther away. All right, another one, number 6, is the position of the objects. So if you think about a picture, and anything that is here, I'll just draw a lovely stick person. When you place somebody down near the bottom, right, they look closer, and that area is called the foreground, for F-O-R-E. The foreground, everything looks closer when you stick it there, right? Same thing, we stick people up here, and they look farther away because they're higher up on the page. Right? Same thing happened in this picture. As soon as we got higher up, they looked farther. And most of you know this one. It's the background equals farther. And the easiest word of the day, if you put things in the middle, that equals the midground. And things look in the middle. Okay, there is one exception to this. Sometimes when you put things up here, they don't necessarily look farther away when they get to the very top. And that happened right up here with those birds. If you go right to the top of the page and you all of a sudden stick something there, it doesn't look like if I put birds back down here, oh, those birds are far away. They're way back there. This bird looks a lot closer. So this is something that happens right up here at the top. It's an exception, right? At the very top. Things can look close. All right. And the last technique is perspective. And perspective is the technique that I used for this house. So I drew the front of the house, and then I went like this, went like this, went like this, and was able to draw the house so that everything looks like it's going farther away. And this is what the next lesson is going to be, and I'm going to stop this note here.